And welcome to Mastermind with me, John Humphrys. Tonight's contenders will answer questions on the singer who founded the WOMAD Festival, the Alien movies, the city of 100 spires, and the founder of a royal dynasty. 4 subjects, 4 contenders, 2 minutes for each, and another 30 seconds for the general knowledge round. And the big prize tonight, a chance to do it all over again in the semi-finals. So let's get on with it and ask our first contender to join us, please. And your name is?
Kenny Alexander.
Your occupation?
Electrician.
And your chosen subject?
The Alien films.
The series of science fiction films that began with Alien in 1979. 2 minutes starting now. Who's been in a shuttle in hypersleep for 57 years when she's rescued at the beginning of Aliens?
Ripley.
Yep. During a meal aboard the spaceship Nostromo, an alien burst through the chest of a crew member played by John Hurt. Which crew member?
Kane.
Yep. In Prometheus, the archaeologists, Dr. Shaw and Dr. Holloway, discover a star map in a cave painting on a Scottish island in 2089 that matches others from several unconnected ancient cultures. Which island?
Isle of Skye.
Yep. Special Order 937, revealed by the Nostromo's computer, states that the first priority of the mission is to ensure return of organism for analysis and that who or what is expendable.
The crew.
Yes. Which actress plays the Auton or robot named Call in Alien Resurrection?
Winona Ryder.
Yes. In Aliens, what Spanish word does the Marine Vasquez have written on the side of her pulse rifle?
Pass.
Which medical research vessel is deliberately programmed by Ripley and Call to destroy itself? It crashes into planet Earth at the climax of Alien Resurrection.
The Riga.
Yes. In Alien Covenant, Danny McBride plays the pilot, sometimes referred to as T, which stands for what name?
Tennessee.
Yes. When the synthetic Walter asks fellow android David the name of the poet who wrote Ozymandias in Alien Covenant, what's his incorrect answer?
Byron.
Yep. What is the name of the cat aboard the Nostromo in Alien? Ripley and the cat are the only survivors at the end of the film.
Jones.
Yep. In Alien 3, Ripley's excuse for having an autopsy carried out on Newt is that they need to check for signs of which disease?
Cholera.
Yes. In Alien, what is the name of the science officer on the Nostromo, played by Ian Holm, who is revealed to be a synthetic after Parker attacks him with a club to stop him killing Ripley?
Ash.
Yep. What 3-word response does the female Marine Vasquez give to Hudson's insulting question? You ever been mistaken for a man in Aliens?
No, have you?
Yes. What is the name of the Nostromo's computer that intercepts an unknown beacon signal at the start of Alien? It is also the name of the Covenant's computer in Alien Covenant.
Mother.
Mother is correct. You had 1 pass, Kenny. That Spanish word written on the side of her pulse rifle was adios. You have scored 13 points. And our next contender, please. And your name is?
Tim Fowler.
Your occupation?
Academic librarian.
And your chosen subject?
Peter Gabriel.
One of the original members of Genesis, who went solo in 1975. 2 minutes on him starting now. What is the title of the last album Gabriel recorded with Genesis in 1974 before he left to go solo?
The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway.
Yep. Gabriel's first solo hit single reached number 13 in the UK singles chart in 1977. What was it called?
Salisbury Hill.
Yes. Which American bass player and member of King Crimson has been a backing musician on most of Gabriel's albums and has also been in his touring band?
Tony Levin.
Yes. Gabriel became famous for the costumes he wore while he was performing with Genesis. He dressed as a flower for the Willow Farm section of which longer track?
Supper's Ready.
Yes. For what film did both Gabriel and his replacement as Genesis singer Phil Collins appear on the soundtrack? Collins sang the title track and Gabriel sang Walk Through the Fire.
Against All Odds.
Yes. Which track on his 1986 UK chart-topping album So has the subtitle Milgram's 37?
We do what we're told.
Yep. The album covers for Gabriel's first 3 solo studio albums, all called Peter Gabriel, were designed by which company?
Hypnosis.
Yes. Which of his videos won a record 9 awards at the MTV Music Awards in 1987?
Sledgehammer.
Yes. What's the name of the Chilean-born French writer with whom Gabriel spent time in 1979 to write a script for a planned film version of The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway?
Pass.
One of his UK top 40 singles is named after a South African anti-apartheid activist who had died in police custody in 1977. Which single?
Biko.
Yes. Which international organisation presented him with its 2008 Ambassador of Conscience Award?
Amnesty International.
Yes, in 2016, Gabriel and Sting did a joint tour of North America. What was the tour called?
Rock, paper, scissors.
Yep. What is the title of the BBC mockumentary series about an ageing rock star that he appeared in 2014?
Brian Pern.
Yes, The Life of Rock with Brian Pern. Gabriel duetted with Kate Bush on the 1986 UK Top 10 single Don't Give Up. Who did he originally plan to sing it with?
Sinead O'Connor.
Dolly Parton, who wrote the song I Think It's Gonna Rain Today that Gabriel performed on his 2010 album Scratch My Back?
Neil Young.
Randy Newman. You had 1 pass. The name of that Chilean-born French writer with whom he spent time in 79 was Alejandro Jodorowsky. Tim, you have 12 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name is?
Helen O'Connell.
Your occupation?
Gardener.
And your chosen subject?
The history of Prague.
The capital of the Czech Republic, founded more than 1,000 years ago. 2 minutes of it. Starting now, from 1948, Czechoslovakia was part of the Soviet bloc. Which square in Prague was the centre of protests in November '89 against communist rule in what became known as the Velvet Revolution?
Wenceslas.
Yes. What is the name of the 9th century prince who's regarded as the founder of Prague because he built a castle and Bohemia's first Christian church?
Bolshoi.
Yes. From what building were several people thrown through its windows to their death in July 1419? The event has been called the first defenestration of Prague.
The new town hall.
Yes. What Czech name is given to the complex of streets, squares and buildings in the immediate vicinity of Prague Castle?
Hradzany.
Yes. What battle of November 1620 was fought near Prague and saw the first major victory of the Catholic Habsburgs over the Protestant Union?
Billahora, White Mountain.
Yes. Battle of the White Mountain. 2 Mozart operas had their premieres in Prague. The first was Don Giovanni in October 1787. What was the second? In September 1791.
La Clemenza de Tito.
Yes, the first stone bridge over the river Vltava was named after the wife of the King of Bohemia, Vladislav II. What was her name?
Judith.
Yes. On the 28th of which month in 1918 was Czechoslovakia officially declared an independent state with Prague as its capital?
Pass.
The building projects of a 14th century king and Holy Roman Emperor include Prague University and the bridge across the Vltava that bears his name. Who was he?
Charles IV.
Yes. Whose forces captured Prague after a short siege in 1744 during the Second Silesian War?
Frederick the Great.
Yes, the King of Prussia. Which writer was born in Prague in 1883? A museum dedicated to him was opened in the city in 2005.
Franz Kafka.
Yes, which theatre that was founded in the 1780s had been known as the Nostitz Theatre and as the Teal Theatre after the composer of the Czech national anthem?
Estates Theatre.
Yes, what is the name of the Jewish quarter of Prague that was officially incorporated into the city in 1850?
Josefov.
Yes. In what church did the special agents who killed the German Reichsprotector Reinhard Heydrich hide after they shot him in May 1942?
Pass.
Well, you're out of time, so I can tell you. It was the church, the Cathedral of St. Cyril, actually. You had one other pass apart from that. It was the 28th of October that the Czechoslovakia officially declared an independent state with Prague as its capital. Helen, you have scored 12 points.
Okay.
And our final contender now, please. And your name is?
Brian Davis.
Your occupation
A civil servant,
and your chosen subject.
the life of Henry VII.
Who was crowned King of England after his Tudor forces defeated the Plantagenet King Richard III in 1485. 2 minutes on him starting now. At which Welsh castle was Henry, Earl of Richmond, born to Lady Margaret Beaufort in January 1457?
Pembroke.
Yes. In 1471, when he was 14, Henry fled to Brittany with one of his uncles, having escaped a Yorkist siege at Pembroke. Which uncle?
Jasper Tudor.
Yes. What is the name of the military organisation established for his coronation in 1485 as his personal bodyguard?
The Yeoman of the Guard.
Yes, Henry seized power at the Battle of Bosworth Field on the 22nd of August, 1485. Which earl brought a large army to Bosworth but failed to engage in the fighting? He was killed by a mob of protesters near Thirsk in 1489.
Northumberland.
Yes. Under an Anglo-Breton treaty concluded in February 1489, he promised 6,000 troops to defend Brittany against France. What treaty?
Malplaquet.
No, Redon. What gold coin was introduced by Henry in 1489?
That was the sovereign.
It was. Which Yorkist conspirator turned King's evidence and provided Henry with the information that led to the arrest and execution of Sir William Stanley in 1495?
Clifford.
Yes. What was the name of the blacksmith known locally as Anne Gough, whose resistance to Henry's tax collectors sparked the Cornish Rebellion in 1497?
Sorry, Michael Joseph.
Yes. An impostor who claimed to be Richard, Duke of York, the younger son of Edward IV, was the focus of numerous plots against Henry till he was executed in 1499. What was his name?
Perkin Warbeck.
Yep, in 1505. Who did he appoint as Garter King of Arms at the instigation of the Clarenceau King of Arms, Roger Machado?
That was Wriothesley.
Yes, Sir Thomas Rythe. What nickname derived from that of Henry's Chancellor has been given to the system of taxation by which both the appearance of wealth and the appearance of poverty were deemed evidence of taxable assets?
Morton's Fork.
Yes, the illicit trade in a mineral used in the dyeing of textiles provided him with a substantial source of income. What was the mineral?
Alum.
Yep. What supposed holy relic given to the king as a gift was paraded through London in April 1505?
The arm of St George.
The leg of St George. What was the name of Henry's first son, who was born in Winchester in 1486 and married to Catherine of Aragon in 1501, but died at Ludlow Castle the following year?
Arthur.
Arthur is correct. No passes? Brian, 12 points.
Thank you.
And now it's that time when we invite all our contenders back into the studio together. So it is the general knowledge round now. 2.5 minutes of questions, and if there's a tie at the end of it, then the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, there has to be a tie break. Now, because they haven't seen each other doing their specialist subjects, the contenders only know what they themselves have scored. So, for everyone at home, let's have a look at all the scores. Let me ask the first contender to return to the spotlight, and he is Tim. And, Tim, it can now be revealed to the other contenders that you have 12 points and 2.5 minutes of general knowledge to add to that score. Here we go. Which legendary Greek writer is the prose author of fables such as The Hare and the Tortoise and The Dog in the Manger?
Aesop.
Yep. The painter Charlotte Johnson Weil is the mother of which former mayor of London?
Boris Johnson.
Yes, in medicine, what name is given to a tube inserted into an artery to keep it open?
Stent.
Yep. Which literary character was based partly on the writer W.E. Henley, a friend of Robert Louis Stevenson, who had his left leg amputated below the knee?
Long John Silver.
Yes. What did the Romans call Mare Nostrum, meaning our sea?
The Mediterranean.
Yes. Dabbling, diving and perching are 3 types of what water bird?
Duck.
Yes. Which Graham Greene novel, first published in 1940, is about a drunken, lapsed Catholic priest living in Mexico who has to withstand political persecution?
The Power and the Glory.
Yes. In rugby union, what is the maximum number of players per side allowed in a scrum?
8.
Yes. What green vegetable is cooked with feta cheese in phyllo pastry in the Greek dish spanakopita?
Spinach.
Yes. Who won the 2017 Best Actress Oscar for her role as a mother who challenges the authorities to solve her daughter's murder in 3 billboards outside Ebbing, Missouri?
Francis Dorman.
Francis McDormand. The jazz musicians Django Reinhardt, Wes Montgomery and Pat Metheny principally played what instrument?
Guitar.
Yes. Which composer, a child prodigy, was born in Salzburg on the 27th of January 1756?
Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart.
Yes. What name of Central Asian origin is given to a priest, doctor or medicine man who is believed to have access to the spirit world?
Which doctor?
Shaman. What was the name of the king of the Huns who died in his sleep during the night following his marriage in AD 453?
Attila.
Yes, Vera is the best-known member of a genus of succulent plants of the lily family that are used in alternative medicines and as pot plants. Which genus?
Aloe.
Yeah, the Golden Arrow Pullman train ran from 1929 to 1972 between London, Victoria and what capital city?
Paris.
Yes, what word that can describe an object, such as a corkscrew, comes directly from the Greek for spiral? It is used in the description of the structure of DNA.
Helix.
Yes, which comic actor's last television sitcom role was as Clarence, a short-sighted removals man in 1988?
Roy Hudd.
Ronnie Barker. What name is given to the type of cloth made by bonding fibres such as wool by the application of heat and pressure? It's widely used in making hats.
Felting.
Felt, yeah. Which statesman, the son of an Ipswich butcher, was appointed Archbishop of York in 1514, a cardinal in 1515, and Lord Chancellor of England in December of that year?
Wolsey.
Was the right man. No passes, Tim. You have scored 29 points. And let us now ask Helen to join us again, please. And Helen, you start out with the same score as Tim began. That is to say 12 points. 29 is the score to beat.
Yes.
Yeah. Here we go. What colour are the benches in the House of Lords?
Red.
Yes. What acid can accumulate in the muscles during intense exercise?
Lactic.
Yes. In 2011, Wales became the first of the home countries to introduce a 5p levy on everyday items in an attempt to cut back on their use. What items?
Plastic bags.
Yeah, carrier bags. Beaumaris was the last of Edward I's Welsh castles to be built. It stands on which island?
Anglesey.
Yes. What is the name of the cartoon strip that features Charlie Brown and his dog Snoopy? It made its first appearance in 1950.
Peanuts.
Yep. Which English classic horse race is run at Epsom? It's named after the nearby estate of the 12th Earl of Derby.
Pass.
Which actor, best known as a dancer, directed the 1969 film version of Hello, Dolly?
Bob Fosse.
Gene Kelly. The males of the wading bird with a long, straight bill make a distinctive drumming sound with their tail feathers when they dive steeply as part of their courtship display. What bird?
Snipe.
Yes. What was the original profession of the writer Sir Arthur Conan Doyle?
Doctor.
Yes. What thick Italian omelette, whose name means fried, is similar to a Spanish tortilla and is usually made with assorted cooked vegetables and cheese?
Frittata.
Yes. The words of which patriotic anthem, first published in 1862, are the most famous composition of the author and lecturer Julia Ward Howe?
Battle Hymn of the Republic.
Yes. What is the name of the land where Cain went to live after he killed Abel? It's described in Genesis as on the east of Eden.
Nod.
Yes. Who won a Pulitzer Prize in 1949 for his play Death of a Salesman?
Arthur Miller.
Yep. The Indian city of Mumbai was known by a different name prior to 1995. What was it?
Bombay.
Yes. What word of Dutch or German origin for a ghost or apparition has become a slang term for a spy or secret agent?
Pass.
Which country built the Mannerheim Line across the Karelian Isthmus facing Leningrad to block aggression by the Soviet Union in the 1930s?
Finland.
Yes. What name is shared by a work by Paul Dukas featured in the 1940 film Fantasia and a 2010 film that stars Nicolas Cage and Alfred Molina?
Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Yes. What is the name of John Cleese's former wife who wrote and co-starred with him in Fawlty Towers as the waitress Polly Sherman?
Connie Booth.
Yes. In which city were Archduke Franz Ferdinand and his wife Sophie murdered in June 1914? The event precipitated the First World War.
Sarajevo.
Yes. What is the name of the language created by the Polish doctor Ludwig Zamenhof? He adopted a pseudonym that means Dr. Hopeful in the language.
Esperanto.
Yes, the waspie was an item of clothing fashionable in the 1950s to create an hourglass figure. It was designed to pull in what part of the female body?
The waist. The
Yes, the waist. Helen, 2 passes. The word for a ghost or apparition or whatever used for a secret agent is spook.
Oh.
And that English classic horse race is the Oaks.
Oh, right.
However, you have scored 30 points. Next in the chair now is Brian. And you start out with 12 points as well. And as you have seen, the score is reaching the outer limits. 30 is the score to beat. Here we go. Who wrote, directed and plays the title role in the 1976 film Rocky?
Sylvester Stallone.
Yes. By what name are Lithuania, Latvia and Estonia often known because of the sea on whose shoreline they lie?
The Baltics.
Yep. In which play by Sheridan do Captain Absolute and Bob Acres compete for the love of Lydia Languish?
The Rivals.
Yes. Which middle-distance runner who set world records in the 1,500 metres, the mile and 2,000 metres in 19 days in 1985 was known as the Jarrow Arrow?
Steve Cram.
Yes. What's the common name for the protuberance in the neck formed by the thyroid cartilage of the larynx that is particularly prominent in some adult men?
The Adam's Apple.
Yes. Which former member of Oasis went straight to the top of the charts with his debut solo album, As You Were, in October 2017?
Liam Gallagher.
Yep. In Greek mythology, the first woman on Earth was created by Hephaestus at the request of Zeus. What was her name?
Pandora.
Yes. In which 1995 Michael Mann film is a gang led by Robert De Niro's character, Neil McCauley, relentlessly pursued by Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, played by Al Pacino?
Taxi Driver.
Heat. In what city was the agreement on climate change brokered by the United Nations and adopted by 195 nations in December 2015?
Paris.
Yes. What is the name of the castle in Kent that stands on islands in the River Len? It was home to 6 medieval queens, including Catherine of Aragon.
Hever Castle.
Leeds Castle. Leafcutter is the name of several species of bee and which other insect?
Ant.
Yes. What word originally applied to a prose narrative written in Norway or Iceland in the Middle Ages has come to mean any long, involved story?
Saga.
Yes. What is the first name of the fashion designer who's the daughter of Sir Paul and Linda McCartney?
Stella.
Yes. Broccio cheese made from the whey of ewe's milk is a speciality of which French island?
Corsica.
Yes. The cynical and disillusioned teenager Holden Caulfield is the hero of a classic novel by J.D. Salinger, first published in 1951. What novel?
Catcher in the Rye.
Yes. What relation was Mary II to Queen Anne, who succeeded Mary's husband, William III, to the British throne in 1702?
Daughter.
Sister. Whose orchestral work, Enigma Variations, is dedicated to My Friends Pictured Within?
Edward Elgar.
Yes. What pub accessories do tegiostologists collect?
Beer mats.
Yes. Which television quiz show for students ran from September 1962 to 1987, was revived in 1994?
University Channel.
Yes. Which American inventor, best known for developing the electric telegraph, was an accomplished portrait painter? He taught art at New York University in the 1830s.
Samuel Morse.
Is correct. No passes, Brian. 29 points. Wow. And finally, Kenny. And Kenny, you start out with 13 points. Let's see what you can do. I'm giving up guessing from now on. You've got to beat 30 points anyway. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
Here we go. What footwear are known as daisy roots in popular rhyming slang?
Boots.
Yep. The name of what psychological condition is abbreviated to OCD?
Obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yes. In which 1957 film western does Burt Lancaster play Wyatt Earp and Kirk Douglas play Doc Holliday?
Tombstone.
Gunfight at the OK Corral. What general name is applied to sporting gun dogs or breeds such as the Labrador that were developed to find and bring back dead or wounded game?
Gun dogs.
Retriever. Which sea and arm of the Pacific is bounded on the west by the Southeast Asian mainland, on the south by Borneo, and on the east by Taiwan and the Philippines?
Yellow Sea.
The South China Sea. What animals are used in the form of polo governed by the wepa?
Elephants.
Yeah. What popular spring flower takes its name from the Persian or Turkish word for turban?
Tulip.
Yeah. Woodhouse is the surname of the heroine and title character of which Jane Austen novel?
Pass.
Who was the owner of the steeplechaser Devon Loch, who stumbled on the final straight when he was in the lead of the 1956 Grand National?
The Queen.
The Queen Mother. Cleve Hill, at 330 metres above sea level, is the highest point of a range of limestone hills in south-central England. Which range?
Pass.
Who led the Scots in their victory over the English at the Battle of Bannockburn in June 1314?
Robert the Bruce.
Yes. What was the name of Elvis Costello's backing group on his early hits?
The Attractions.
Yes. What word used in the entertainment industry for a person who introduces and provides the links between acts comes from an old French term for a godfather?
Pass.
The surrender of a Dutch city in 1625 inspired a painting by Velázquez completed some 10 years later that glorified the military triumphs of Philip IV of Spain. What city?
Amsterdam.
Breda. What soup, whose name is associated with one of the countries of the UK, is made from meat, usually lamb or mutton, and vegetables such as carrots and swedes, thickened with pearl barley?
Scotch broth.
Yes. Which author, known for his legal thrillers, wrote the 2017 novel Camino Island about the theft of rare books?
Robert Ludlum.
John Grisham. Who composed the hymn to St. Cecilia, completed in 1942 to words by W.H. Auden?
Pass.
What name do Girl Guides and Girl Scouts give to the 22nd of February, when each year they're asked to consider a particular theme?
Pass.
The flag of an historic English county registered in 2008 is a heraldic double white rose on a blue background. Which county?
Yorkshire.
Yorkshire is correct. You had 5 passes, Kenny. That day, the 22nd of February, is World Thinking Day. Benjamin Britten composed the music for hymn to St. Cecilia. A compere is a person in the entertainment industry. Cleve Hill is in the Cotswolds, and the character in that Jane Austen novel is Emma. Kenny, those 5 passes, you scored what, in usual times, is a very respectable score of 21. But it means that our winner tonight is Helen. Well, what can I say? Let's have a look at all of those scores. In 4th place, 21 points, Kenny. Joint 2nd place, 29 points apiece, Tim and Brian. In 1st place, an extraordinary 30 points, Helen. And, of course, she goes straight through to the semi-finals. So, commiserations to Tim and Brian, but with their score 29 apiece, it is entirely possible, likely even, that we shall see them again in the semi-finals. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, do go to our website, bbc.co.uk/Mastermind, and you can follow us on Twitter @MastermindQuiz. And do join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.